Hi everyone, Katie James here and Jacob Bestwick from the Quota team. We're here to give you an update in the Northwest area of what Quota stocks uptake is looking like and what ICE's advice has been released so far this year as to how that's going to look to change next year, subject to negotiations. So we've got our usual slides to show you in our presentation format, and I'll run through those now. Something that's important to note is that the presentation on each slide does have a yellow box at the bottom of each page. That information that's contained in the yellow box is a plus or minus, so an increase or a decrease that ICE have released as a provisional change in TAC advice for next year. However, quotas will be decided during negotiations, which are due to be later this year, and those final figures will then be published in the Provisional Secretary of State determination, and that usually happens in late December. So same format as we normally have, but for anyone who's not seen one before, we have a graph on the left, which we call our yearly uptake document. This graph has 3 bars. We have a blue bar, which is our initial allocation that we receive. We have an orange bar, and that indicates whether we have traded anything in or out of that stock and where it sits currently. And then we have the grey bar, which is the amount that's been the uptake bar, or the amount that's been landed by the vessels in that particular fleet. In this case, we're looking specifically at COD 7A for the under 10 metre fleet. On the right hand side, we have like a building block graph. And so you'll see along the bottom that we've got the last 4 years, including this year. And then at the right hand side, we've got the months and obviously the tonnage that's been landed. Starting at the bottom with that dark blue block, which you can only see in 2021 for January, moving right through up to December, which should be green, but you'll see that most of them are looking at sort of the November and that purple block there. Then we've got the yellow of ICE's advice, as I suggested on the previous slide. So for COD 7A, we still have a 0 catch advice going through for 2025. I have had lots of conversations with your RFG, Dan Wardle, and we've been looking at what we can do over the winter months to help support for the COD 7A fishery. So as of July, the catch limit has been moved to a 300 bycatch only quarterly catch limit. So that sits there for the last 6 months of years over the 2 quarters. And it's something that we'll be looking at whether we can adopt and change to support the bycatch fishery over the winter months, when I know that some of you do struggle. We are looking to whether we can have a meeting with some of you to arrange getting some more information, learning about the fleet and doing what we can to support the fleet over the next couple of months. So looking at the under 10 metres, you will see that we started with the initial availability this year of 2.9 tonnes. I've been working really hard over the last couple of months with Jacob to trade in some additional quota, and we now sit at 14.8 tonnes. I am looking to see whether we can get any internationally at all. I'm not sure whether this will be feasible, but it is an option that we're looking at for now and for future. So that does give us some leeway for those winter months in terms of having some backup quota for you to support you in that bycatch fishery. Uptake's obviously very much low at this point due to the type of fishery it is with seasonality. So moving on, we've got place 7A. For the under 10s, we have a current allocation of 163 tonnes and an uptake of 5.48. In the over 10s, we've got a current allocation of 7.4 tonnes with an uptake of 0.24. Catch limit sits at 8 tonnes for the unders and 3 tonnes for the overs. ICE's advice for this one provisionally is looking at a 21% decrease. Nephrops in area 7, you'll see we started with 39 tonnes. We are up to 156 tonnes. We have had a couple of vessels in the non-sector expressing their interest in actually looking at catching Nephrops area 7. It doesn't look as though it's something that's happened or come to fruition yet, but we're certainly looked at trading the stock in to be able to support the fleet should they need that stock ultimately. So it might be something that's maneuvered around between the under 10 metres or over 10 metre fleet to support the non-sector vessels. Uptake's looking at 2.1 tonnes in the under 10s and 6.34 tonnes in the over 10s. The ICE's advice for Nephrops is looking at being due later this year. Sol 7A, so there has been a very recent change to this particular stock. Some ICE's advice, a new SOS or Secretary of State determination was released on Friday last week, so that's the 16th of August, following the ICE's doing a new benchmark of the stock and re-evaluating the advice that they originally released for 2024. And it has moved from a 0 TAC with bycatch only advice to a total allowable catch now of somewhere in the region of 600 tonnes. We are waiting for the allocations to actually filter down to a group level, so for us to find out what we will have for the under 10 metre fleet and the over 10 metre fleet. However, based on the fact that the allocation for this year at a UK level is very similar to last year, we are reinstating the 2-tonne under 10 metre catch limit that we had for the last couple of years, where I've been trying to support the fleet in keeping a regular supportive catch limit that was feasible for you. So you will find that you'll get a variation text message at the end of this week to inform you that the catch limit has removed a bycatch only and is reinstating the 2-tonne catch limit that we had the last couple of years. Uptake's obviously very low at the moment. I've had lots of conversations with some of the Northwest fleet over it not being viable now and it being quite late on in the year for Seoul. But if there is any support that we can provide, by all means, get in touch. Happy to speak things through with everyone, and I'm sure Jacob is as well. ICE's advice for this stock is a -3% for next year. Obviously, it's a stock that we do trade in anyway to be able to support the 2 tonnes, and we will continue to do that next year to try and keep that 2-tonne catch limit sustained right through annually, unless there is a change to anything from negotiations. Moving on to Skates and Rays in area 6 and 7. She says that might need to be adjusted. Oh no, that's right. Sorry, I'm having a real meltdown about what video I'm recording here. So Skates and Rays in area 6 and 7, excluding 7D. ICE's advice for this stock is due in September, October. We have a current allocation of 557 tonnes. The catch limit for the under 10 sits at 15 tonnes, and we've got a current uptake of 347 tonnes. So we've got a good 200 tonnes there availability for the last few months of the year. We have seen a peak uptake of this stock in June this year, but a slightly slower one for sort of like these last couple of months really at the moment. Maybe that's catching up with us and we'll see a higher uptake than previous years. But uptake previously has only sat around the 430, 440 sort of mark, and we have got 557, so we've got enough there to support the fleet. In terms of the over 10s, 132 tonnes allocation, same catch limit as the under 10s at 15 tonnes, and the current uptake's at 57.65 tonnes. Whiting 7A, zero catch advice again for next year. We've received a 2.4 allocation this year. It currently sits at 3.2 tonnes, and we've sat at the 100 kilos for a catch limit as bycatch only. Current uptake is very little to none, so there's not too much there, I don't think, affecting that one in terms of needing adjustment to catch limit, but by all means, if there's any further information, happy to take that on board. That's everything for yourselves. This is a page with our contact details. As I said in the past, email, text, call, voice note, WhatsApp, whatever's you're comfortable with in terms of getting in contact with myself or Jacob. Our contact numbers are there, and we do have a shared mailbox, which the email address is there as well. And that's ready available. I myself work Tuesday to Friday, and Jacob's around all week too. So feel free to get in touch at any time. Hopefully we'll have an RFG in the next sort of recent weeks, and you will be there to answer any questions that you've got following this video being released to yourselves. We do have a catch limit live at the moment as of the 21st of August. That is on the front page of the MMO website. Alternatively, you can go to the gov.uk website and search September catch limit review. That will have any useful information in there that you may find that you need, as well as our contact details as well if you need them. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope you've had a lovely summer, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.